Up a long forest mountain path is an abandoned house near the Chinese city of Chengdu that is said to be haunted. An explorer named the Sneezing Monkey travels to the fabled house to see if anything paranormal is there. There's not much left inside, but he does find an old book that he seems particularly interested in. At 2 minutes and 6 seconds, it almost looks like it gets slapped out of his hands by a possible ghost, but he could have dropped it too. Tell me what these pages say. For some reason, he seems to feel it's interesting enough to show the camera. Not much else happens, and just when I was doubting this house was haunted, I hear this. He's looking at some kind of fire pit or something and hears a noise. He looks up and hears it again coming from the attic. He doesn't stick around for long and wisely decides to leave. While hiking in the woods of Slovakia, this hiker didn't realize he was being stalked until it was nearly too late. Published by Lion Plays Mobile in January of 2022, this hiker is capturing video in the woods as forest noises sound all around him. After a moment, you can see something large in the trees, rattling them aggressively. The unknown creature roars, and the hiker drops his camera downward and starts running. What is haunting the forests of Slovakia? Is it a bear or something out of a horror story? Paranormal Lone Star thinks they've spotted some strange activity while exploring the basement of the old Stanford Inn in Stanford, Texas. Down here is where an entity named Ernest is said to haunt. First, they find his saw.
Looks like we had a saw right there.
Oh wow, that's creepy.
That's the rest on that.
Then they find Ernest, or so it seems.
Not liking this script.
Be good.
The saw is no doubt real because there is still a nail where it used to hang on the wall, but as for Ernest the ghost sighting, I'm not so sure. You can hear the paranormal investigators in the room, so it wasn't them, but it could have been a third person dressed in black pretending to be a real ghost caught on camera. A home security camera caught this scary sight in Corvina. Posted by Ruby Gonzalez in December of 2018, Ruby writes, 2 individuals tried to enter a home. One knocked on the door and called out the resident's first name several times. The family was home at the time. You can see one of the men approach with his hood up and a kerchief covering his mouth, wearing a backpack. He knocks on the door, waiting with his head down, likely aware of where the security camera is located. A second dude also approaches, dressed in the same fashion. He's carrying a crowbar. They knock a second and third time, alerting a small dog inside. When a car passes, they both turn to look down the street and ensure there are no witnesses. He knocks several more times, saying, "Come on, bro." But the second dude eventually taps him on the arm, indicating it's time to give up and leave, which thankfully they do. Whatever they came for, they left empty-handed. Is this phantom nurse here to heal you or to hurt you? Published by Luan Mendez in May of 2020. Luan and his crew are exploring an abandoned hospital whose staff hasn't really left. Wandering the halls, they seem to turn down one hallway where they seem to spot something skulking in the darkness. The thing must have disappeared, so they move on, continuing in their search, and that's when they see her, Nurse Ratchet. They race away as fast as they can, and one of the crew falls unexpectedly to the ground. It almost looks like he was clotheslined by something invisible. The crew manages to make it out of the hospital alive, and that's no thanks to the creepy phantom nurse. Just by looking at the exterior of this house, you can tell it's clearly haunted. Published by Han Kardesler. These 3 paranormal investigators are doing a ritual just to make sure. Circling a small table with candles lit on top, The men are seen grasping the table and chanting a ritual, while noises are heard around them. Then outside they see this. A pale face in the window moves away. Back inside, the men are chanting around the table again, when a wheeled chair rolls into view. One of the men seems to be shocked by something unexplained and without a word walks away. The others follow him, uncertain of where he went. They find him outside standing at a distance in the darkness. He is suddenly snatched by someone and pulled from view. They find him in a strange stick hut and appear to talk him into normalcy. But what of the snatcher? Was this the work of the mad face in the window? I think so. Filmed near Shady Lake at Arkansas's Washita National Forest. This family was camping in a secluded campground when they encountered a creature that some think is a myth. Published by Jim Harrison in September of 2012, the camera is panning across the darkness when a large hairy figure moves into view not far off. Needless to say, the cameraman turns tail to flee, and I'm guessing he made it out alive, with this wicked footage to show for it. While you may not be a believer, many in the comments of this video are. A number of them even share their own encounters with Sasquatch. Franco TV is one of the few ghost hunters I've come across who isn't afraid to investigate solo. In fact, he prefers it. Charging into the middle of the action and staying put is his style. Rarely does he run. On September 7th, 2018, Franco TV goes to an abandoned house that's way out in the Florida forest. I can't tell you the exact location, but I can tell you the name, the Edison House. What's inside leaves him a sweat-soaked mess. The address is so secret that he had to track down some of the previous owners to find it, and since no one can stand living here for more than a few months, there were plenty of previous owners to choose from. It was accidentally built over a gravesite according to them, and that's all they will say because it's so cursed that just talking about it could possibly bring about years of misfortune. None of this concerns Franco enough to keep him from going inside. Through the condemned door is a trashed interior that fills the investigator with the type of dread that burns stronger with every step. Everything about it feels off and wrong in a way he can't explain.
So weird.
Past a crumbling kitchen is a small kid's room that feels colder than the rest of the house. And as he's reading but not adhering to the simple instructions on the wall,
get out.
he hears the giggle of a child. The laughter comes from behind him, practically in his ear, and he turns against a wall with a mysterious red stain that looks like it's squirted out of someone's neck. Across from him, this witch-like face appears against the window. It's most visible at approximately 3 minutes and 12 seconds, eyes and all. Undeterred, he goes to where it was standing and looks inside the room he was just in. As he's doing this, the same face now regards him through a crack in the doorway at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. It doesn't look like it's part of the door, but I guess it could be. The upstairs is cramped and uncomfortably hot. Down the hall is a red handprint that could belong to a child, except it's too high up on the wall. Perhaps they were struggling with someone trying not to be carried into this room. As Franco stares into the room, dozens of comments point out this figure staring back out at him from within the closet, just like the far wall says. I couldn't really see anything at first, but when I did, I suddenly wished I didn't try so hard. Something's there. Franco doesn't spend much time in this room because he gets an especially bad feeling, but one thing I noticed was this jet black spirit orb float up towards him and disappear. That's not a bug. The anxiety he gets from the second floor is a little too much, even for him, and look what happens when he goes back downstairs.
I'm hearing all sorts of noises everywhere, and I don't have no cover at all, and I'm in the middle of the forest. So that's kind of like one of the reasons why it's going to be a little bit weird for me, because I can't deal with that.
This just so happens to be one of the only times he films behind him, so maybe this part is set up. Anyway, this was back when a supernatural challenge called Charlie Charlie was popular, and so he decides to play around before calling it quits. He sets up 2 pencils and waits for the ghost to respond.
Is there anyone in this house right now? Is there anyone that's
I don't know about you, but I see no string.
Do you wish me to leave this area?
A closer look under the light at 9 minutes and 17 seconds shows that nothing is tied around the pencil at all. He follows its advice and goes outside. By now, Franco is soaked in sweat and still hearing movements that I don't think he's making up because they sound too far away, deeper in the forest.
And from there, from there, I'm gonna head home. After that, I'm done. I gotta get out of here.
Part of him wants to leave, but he knows he has to explore the surrounding property because it's where more spirits roam around their unmarked graves. While staring out into the wilderness, he hears them.
What the is that?
It's not traffic because there's no roads out here, and exactly 2 seconds later it's accompanied by a voice warning him never to return.
Holy crap.
Advice that Franco TV decides to take as he walks away from the Edison House with the blank, horrified stare of a man who has been shown far too much. The grounds where a double life-taking has occurred is no place to be at night. The guys in this video learned that the hard way. Published to YouTube by the Wildfire family in October of 2017, this ghost investigation has all the right ingredients for fear: a storm, an abandoned house at night in the middle of the woods, and a Ouija board. The host, Aiden, says the house has a super creepy backstory and is said to be haunted. The story goes that 2 male lovers built a mansion up in the woods. As such things weren't accepted at the time, the men had their lives taken in this home. The suspects received life sentences in 1982, but the fact that the police investigation turned up occult tools and books, along with the macabre decor of the home, turned the event into a media circus. The men were labeled devil worshippers. And now back to this video. The ghost investigators leave their house at midnight in a storm, planning to arrive at Corpsewood Manor at 3 a.m. They drive into the woods and then set out on foot on the path, not sure where they are, ready to get lost. They arrive at a fork in the road and finally find their way to the abandoned manor. Aiden hears a grumbling, which he admits may be thunder.
I heard like a grumbling, but that might have been thunder.
He says that his camera, with its full battery, keeps shutting off every time they attempt to start with the Ouija board. At 3 in the morning, they begin asking the Ouija board if anyone had their life taken there. Nothing happens, but they do hear something in the vicinity. Aiden says that he wants to go check it out and thinks it sounded like someone walking.
I heard someone over there.
Jared is freaked out, hearing another sound in the trees. He thinks it was probably the wind.
Dude, I heard something.
No, you did not.
They decide to leave because Jared can't take it anymore. Can you blame him? Aiden recalls that when he sat at the Ouija board and opened up the portal to the spirit world, he forgot to say goodbye, and he claims that ever since then, weird stuff has been happening. All I know is that place seriously seemed haunted. If you thought gargoyles were only a thing of Gothic cathedrals, like Notre Dame, think again. Published by Mr. Illusion in March of 2022, this scary video purports to capture a real-life flying gargoyle. I couldn't find the origins of this mysterious video, but the footage shows chaos ensuing amongst a group of people as a monstrous creature appears in the sky overhead. The flying creature is enormous, with large, bat-like wings, a long tail, and what looks like a human head. As it flaps its wings, traveling across the sky, the people below panic. It is captured briefly one more time flying away. Is this CGI, a real-life gargoyle, or some other demon in flight? Whatever it is, I wish it would turn back to stone. These friends travel to an abandoned church in Wales that gives all three of them a sinister feeling before anyone steps foot inside. It may have been nice when it was first built, but with ivy growing up the side and dirty water pooling around the foundation, this church looks corrupted, the perfect place for spirits to roam.
That is proper evil looking church.
The inside looks trashed by partiers, cans everywhere. They think they can hear faint church bells in the wind, but unfortunately nothing picks up on camera. Still, the feeling that they are not alone only grows more persistent with every step, and as they cross a large empty room in ruins, commenting on how evil it feels, they do pick up two anomalies.
But look, evil. They've like done, dare I say, a really good job of like securing it though.
I'm almost positive that the first anomaly was a lens flare caused by light coming through the window, but the second sighting, the shadow person, is much odder.
A really good job of...
I would say that this is his shadow, except there is no lower half, so it might not belong to anyone in the group, or anyone alive for that matter. The Franklin County Old Jail, which was established in 1818, is widely known for being extremely haunted, and usually, it seems that whoever dares to enter finds themselves getting more than they bargained for. A YouTube channel named Paranormal Purgatory decided to venture down into the jail themselves to have a look around the place. The jail is eerily decrepit and worn down, something you'd expect from a 200-year-old building, but just because it's worn down doesn't mean that the place remains uninhabited.
Look at that. Let's get real.
See the old rocking horse in there?
Know what I see.
Go in there.
Know what I see.
Go in there.
Know what I see.
Go in there. Did you hear that?
I heard that too.
It's the whistle.
So next to the bed here, I do kind of see what they're talking about here. If you just focus on the bed, there appears to be just kind of this shadow, and then it almost seems to take off to the right here.
Old rocking horse in there?
Know what I see.
Go in there.
Know what I see.
Go in there.
Know what I see.
Go in there. Did you hear that?
Oh, right there. Okay, I now see exactly what they're talking about. So there's going to be a flash of light. So it looks like it's like a head and kind of a torso, and there's that flash of light, and then it looks like it just sort of pops right up. It happens so quickly. I should play this in slow motion. Right here, don't you see that? And then it just pops right up just in the split second that it's shown in the light. Even though the crew behind the channel had only just started to look around the jail, little did they know that they didn't need to look any further for signs of paranormal life, as you can make out what appears to be some sort of shadow figure right next to the bed, which vanishes just as quick as it appears. During the rest of the video, the crew explores the remaining areas of the jail, but are ultimately unable to find any other signs of paranormal activity. Even still though, seeing this shadow figure in person during an investigation would be enough to terrify anybody. Nothing like a good legend to call up some creepy videos. Posted by YouTuber Leonardo Martinez in January of 2016. The video is entitled El Pombero and El Dorado, Misone's Real. What is El Pombero? According to Latin American legend, the mythological gnome-like figure is rife in the Paraguayan forest, but can be found across southern Brazil, Argentina, and Paraguay. Pombero is mainly seen at night in rural areas and forests, holding up in sheds and abandoned structures. He likes to mimic bird sounds, and the inexplicable chirping of birds is said to indicate that Pombero is near. If anyone so much as speaks Pombero's name out loud, he will harass them. Now that you know the myth, let's take a look at this video, which claims to have caught live-action footage of the creature. Filmed in the forest, a group of folks are wandering through the trees when, off to the side, something that looks like a short stump starts to move. The figure hobbles in an uncanny way, leaning on a crutch. Needless to say, the people rush off in fear. It certainly looks jarring and uncannily real. If you live in Paraguay, I guess it's time to hide. You don't want to cross paths with this mischief maker. A YouTuber named Lawrence Ryan takes off his shirt and throws it over a shelf. A while later, he returns to the area and now finds the discarded piece of laundry has somehow shifted into a face. This shift continues before his very eyes until Lawrence grabs a camera to document the paranormal event. The shirt takes the appearance of a grinning demonic face who is looking down and to the left. If you don't see it yet, you soon will. The transformation is not yet fully complete. The camera goes out of focus very briefly as Lawrence struggles to zoom in while walking closer. And when the camera corrects itself and comes back into play, the face is changed again. Pause at 1 minute and 47 seconds into the video, and you will see it now has a very deep ceased brow, a sharp angular nose, and a strange expression that looks like a cross between a frown and a smirk. I really don't see how any of this is possible, but then again, if it's fake, then I don't know how they did it either. The shirt is hanging from a shelf and should not hold any form at all. If they tried to somehow fold it into the shape of a face, I don't think it would stay like that for long. This family has been affected by dark magic for years. They believe it's witchcraft because they found unexplained earth crosses and voodoo dolls outside their home. This professional has come to release them from the bad energies. She starts by doing a ritual.
¿Estás bien? ¿Estás bien? Acá conmigo. ¿Estás bien? No la voltees a ver a ella. Acá conmigo. ¿Estás bien? ¿Quién eres?
And then the ritual intensifies.
¿Quién eres? No, acá. Conmigo. Aquí conmigo. ¿Quién eres? Acá conmigo. Respira. Respira. ¿Estás acá conmigo? ¿Estás en ti?
The victim is then released from the ropes.
Romper tus ataduras. Hoy voy a romper lo que no permite que tú puedas seguir adelante. No, te voy a cortar las ataduras, te voy a liberar. Respira, te voy a liberar.
The woman then balances what looks like a glass of milk atop the possessed lady's head.
No hay nada que te retenga. Tranquila. Tranquila. La luz divina te cubre. La luz de la divinidad te cubre. La luz misma te cubre. Esto se me va.
She becomes weaker.
Siéntate. 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 Siéntate.
Cuidado.
Ahí estás. Ahí estás.
And it truly looks like something is possessing her.
Tranquila. Estamos con this.
Whatever is haunting her is hurting her. This pair is connected somehow.
Tranquila. Tranquila.
So,
Respire. Respire. Respire.
The woman tries to catch her breath calmly.
Respire. ¿No qué? A ver. Acá, arriba conmigo. Aquí. Respire. Respire. Inhale y exhale. Despacito. Inhale y exhale.
And then they both appear to be released from the spell.
Hola. ¿Cómo estás? Aide. ¿Cómo estás? Regresa, muñeca, regresa. Regresa, Aide.
I find this whole ritual intriguing. Not only are the steps involved interesting, but it seems to have worked. But will it last? I guess only time will tell. Every culture has its own folklore, but the banana tree ghost of Asia is particularly creepy. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit. We've seen banana tree ghosts in the past, but this one is extra spooky. Alien Angel writes, Ghost girl crying in a banana tree patch. It is unbelievable what happens towards the end. Traditionally, the ghost hides out in wild banana trees and is with a green complexion, full black hair, and bright red lips. She remains incognito there until full moon drives her out of the darkness, which is when she is made visible at night. Often she is seen standing without touching the ground. Her lower half is represented as not solid, but wispy, like an extension from the trunk of the tree itself. Apart from the tree's fruits being inedible, many don't grow this type of banana tree in their compounds or homes because of their haunted nature. This is also why if you cut a banana tree from the clump in Thailand, it's seen as a bad omen, while the witch is believed to be for the most part a good witch, even going so far as to offer food to Buddhist monks who pass her by. With this bit of background, take a look at this video. The Wailing Witch is clearly visible in this banana tree. Her long black hair and light green shirt seen amongst the giant banana leaves. What isn't clear is why she's crying like this. Or is that crying coming from the person viewing the witch? Is it a cry of fear? The viewer doesn't have to be afraid for long, as the witch soon vanishes, flashing up out of the tree and out of sight. While some in the comments say this is surely a witch, others aren't so sure. Redditor Pete318 shares his own personal view, writing, "There are some areas where spirit people congregate, and you can tell these areas by several things you feel when near them. Whether you believe in the haunting of nature or not, this video is proof that there are some things out there that will forever remain a mystery." A person in Ukraine was filming a calm river one evening just in time to capture a humanoid-looking creature cross underneath of a bridge using all fours. As the footage shows, something is grabbing onto the underside of a bridge and silently making its way across. Exactly what the creature is remains a debate online to this day. Some people have pointed out that this could be a human, but others have noticed how its legs and arms appear to be the exact same length. It almost looks like it could be an animal, but I'm not aware of any animal from this region that likes to hang upside down from bridges. Besides, if someone had to go underneath a bridge like that for whatever reason, then they would either hang from their arms or else hug the bridge tightly while creeping across. This thing, on the other hand, just swings across the bottom like it's no big deal. Human or not, this thing definitely has a very bizarre center of gravity as it moves. This police cam footage was taken during a massive wildfire in Sonoma County, California in 2017. Officers are doing what they can to evacuate the public and restore order, but as this brief dashcam video shows, they were up against total chaos at the time.
I just had to look for the fire department, and here it is that by accident. He said he was unaware of which way the fire is going. They had so many fires, they can't really keep track at this point, and they also cannot answer.
Listen closely and you'll even hear the dispatcher say that they can't tell which direction the fire is spreading and seems to be genuinely overwhelmed. I have to salute this officer and all of the other brave public officials who willingly charged into a massive blaze to try and help everyone. It's not unusual for a radiator to make noise, but imagine this noise coming from behind your radiator. The original upload of this video was deleted, but was luckily saved by other YouTubers. The creature who's been living behind his radiator starts to rattle it and makes a squeaking noise, prompting the camera to peer behind it into the darkness. After several minutes of peering and not seeing, the camera seems to focus in on something more distinguishable. An eye at the bottom of the radiator appears. It doesn't look like a mouse eye or the eye of any other small rodent, but rather the eye of a human-like creature. The sound of a monkey erupts. Watch it if you're brave, but be ready to jump. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit, the Redditor writes that this is the most terrified he's ever been. The scary footage shows an attic of an abandoned house under night vision. At the beginning of the clip, Connor hears a strange noise. He looks around a little and, from upstairs, captures something in the window on the ground floor. It's glowing. He decides to go investigate. Down at the window in question, there's absolutely nothing there. Nobody, no light. Next, he uses a spirit box to speak with whomever is in the home. Someone asks him to help and let him out. Another voice says to please leave. Admitting this gave him chills. Connor says this is probably the last time he'll return here. As he's walking into an adjacent room, a board is flung at him. He stops in his tracks and turns around to look around him. Nothing is there. In the comments, Connor explains, "It was a rock or a brick that barely missed. It flew past the right side of my head. That's why I'm never going back there, 'cause I feel like I could have passed away. No kidding, there's something evil in this house, and it wants you to leave. You'd best listen." Tyler Rowe works in a grocery store with a freezer that he and all of his coworkers are sure is haunted. First, it starts with these strange noises, almost like someone is trying to kick their way out. The kicking noises grow more intense until finally, at 9:02 a.m., this always happens without fail.
Here it comes.
This time Tyler is determined to get to the bottom of it. He bravely marches in and documents that absolutely nobody is inside the freezer. Watch this part and let me know if you can see anyone, because I didn't.
Is there a light in here? And there's nothing in here. There's nothing, nobody, anything. It's just open.
I can't help but suspect that a past employee somehow got locked in the freezer one morning and did not make it. Now they are trapped in spirit, kicking the door much like they did in their final hours on Earth. If someone can give me a mechanical explanation of why the door would burst open by itself at 9 in the morning every day, I would believe otherwise. This scary home CCTV video shows why you should never leave your cooking unattended. In less than a minute, their entire countertop is covered in flames. The wife makes the mistake of trying to grab the flaming pot barehanded to put it in the oven and only sends a cascade of flames to the floor. But it's the husband who makes the ultimate mistake. He throws water on the flames, which is not what you do in a grease fire, because this only makes the grease splash and spread the flames around. Everyone is okay and the fire goes out, but this method could have seriously burnt the house down. From what I've read, he could have put something large over the fire. Smothering it deprives the flames of oxygen and makes them go out. That fire was already really big though, so I don't know what he could have covered it with. To me, this video is a good example of why you should always have a fire extinguisher somewhere in your house, and make sure you have it inspected from time to time to make sure it works. When something terrifying like this happens and you need it most. Things are about to get creepy on this CCTV video taken from a restaurant somewhere in China. A man looks in the cooler and decides to help himself to something else. A while later, he takes a seat near a woman who's looking the other way. 26 seconds is when he looks over and then he goes for it, taking something in her jacket, probably a purse, and walking straight out the door. He's fumbling around for quite some time and likely has to undo a button or two to abscond with her belongings. If only she had turned around the other way, he would have been caught in person and not just on camera. For those of you who think this isn't a scary video, try getting stranded in another country with no passport, money, credit cards, or phone. That's a situation only for the brave if I've ever heard one. A group of friends decide to go driving down a haunted stretch of road in Wisconsin to see if the rumors are true. Apparently, a spirit will eventually get in the car with you if you wander around for long enough. They make sure it's midnight just for good measure and set out for adventure. The plan is to basically get lost in the middle of nowhere and then park on the side of the road. They drive for a long time until they find a desolate section with absolutely no traffic and decide this is as good a spot as any. They turn out all of the lights and sit in total darkness for a while. After some nervous chatter, they decide to turn the lights on for a second and make sure everyone is doing okay.
Hey, we're looking to see anything. Oh, maybe you'll see something. Do you see Eric?
A woman ghost wearing a bridal gown sits with them in the back. Missing are her nose, lips, and one eye, but that still doesn't stop her from giving a sickening smile to the camera. Nobody notices her until they review the video later and subsequently flip out. Hopefully the spirit stayed on the road that night and followed none of them home. Tim, John, and Ben are going to explore a house in the back of the woods that is rumored to be where a clan of worshippers do all kinds of rituals. They wander around in the woods for a while until a rickety white house rises from the darkness. Inside, warnings are spray painted all across the walls in big dark letters, but they do not heed them and press on. Tim, John, and Ben take turns breaking stuff and jumping out at each other. But suddenly, the three become very serious and quiet when they find a dungeon-like basement that leads straight down. The dark area smells extremely foul, and they cover their nose and mouths with their shirts to lessen the stench. The only thing down there besides them are two dolls hanging by their necks, or at least that's what they think. Suddenly, all three of them are running from what sounds like a creature with a low, throaty growl.
Oh my god. Oh, the police are open. Okay, you gotta go.
If this noise is real, then it almost has to be the end result of a terrible ritual that none of us are brave enough to see. Jails offer no privacy, and a lot of them have CCTV equipment in nearly every corner. This video of an empty cell seems ordinary enough until a shadow materializes out of nowhere. The restless spirit briefly paces in a circle and then goes to the far corner. It seems to step onto the toilet and then jumps out of sight. If this is not CGI, then it could be a spirit reenacting the final moments before taking its own life with a rope or something similar. This is sadly a common practice in jail and can be done with anything from shoelaces to a tied up shirt. Maybe a desperate inmate once tied something around their neck to the bars above and jumped off the toilet. They were obviously trying to escape their punishment, but now it looks like they doomed themselves here for all eternity. Julia Merfeld gets into a stranger's car and they introduce themselves.
So, I guess we got a little business to discuss?
She is interviewing a hitman for hire. They discuss payment, a good date and time, and the target, Jacob, her husband. The conversation becomes increasingly creepy as they get into the finer details of the job.
You don't want him to suffer, so I'll make it quick and clean.
Perfect.
And I can do it any way you want me to, but I just want to know how you want it done.
Really, whatever's easiest. If you can get him outside, that would be great. Because it would be messy in the house.
They later have a second meeting finalizing the plan. After showing the hitman a picture of the target, Julia starts talking about why she is having this done.
As terrible as it sounds, it was easier than divorcing him. You know, I didn't have to worry about the judgment of my family. I didn't have to worry about breaking his heart. Stuff like this is like kind of like a clean get. I mean, it's gonna.
I'm just gonna take him head on there and I'm gonna shoot him right in the face. Okay.
Little does Julia know that she is actually talking to an undercover officer, and these two videos contain all the evidence they need to put her away. The judge gave Julia a sentence of between 5 and 20 years. Let me know if you agree with this decision, or if you would have given a harsher sentence. Laughter is the last thing you want to hear in a cemetery. Published by Alberto Del Arco in December of 2021, this terrifying clip captured in a cemetery will leave you on edge. As the crew converse with each other, a creepy, high-pitched laugh is heard in the background.
¿Oíste? Sí. Hola?
They try to contact the spirits in the graveyard using a spirit box. One of them distinctly says Kila, which is the word that in Portuguese, and continues to speak, saying hi to the team.
Hola, ¿hay alguien aquí que quiere hablar con nosotros? Hola.
He later says his name is George.
¿Cuál es tu nombre? George?
What does George want? And was that who he heard laughing? We're left with many questions, but not many answers. While filming some footage in an old hotel corridor for a project, Redditor I Am Not the Problem captured something unexpected. Look for the pale blobby thing floating in the middle of the hallway. Did you see it? The Redditor says it's not a bug, and they weren't wearing any reflective jewelry. Still, Redditors have some plausible theories. The more I watch the clip, the more I logic my way toward the mirror hypothesis. While filming the Milky Way above, YouTuber Homestead How captured an unidentified flying object above his house. Let's take a look.
Okay, I'll just show it on screen. Here's
Spencer!
Here's number one. Kitty, watch.
You need to clean your screen.
Yeah, I do.
Keep going.
What is that? An air? I swear to not edit that. This photo isn't edited at all.
That does look like an unidentified flying object to me. They crop it to zero in.
If nothing else, this is a cool shot. You can see the house and the stars. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, what the heck? It looks like there's little lights. There's little lights.
I'll show this on the screen too. Here, I'm gonna take a screenshot.
A second shot is even clearer, and YouTube commenters are blown away by it.
That's a helicopter? Is that a helicopter? Just
like little seeds.
What? Like, look, you can see stars behind it. If this was a helicopter, wouldn't there be like a thing here and this, and then a propeller,
and then a person?
And
this camera zooms in far, and you can see
a window here.
I agree with Snakebite. That's one of the clearest unidentified flying object pics I've ever seen. In my opinion, it couldn't be anything but an unidentified flying object. The roots of British Columbia's historic Alexandra Lodge reach back over a century to the pioneer and gold rush days. While staying overnight there, YouTube team Ghostly Activities is having a physical reaction to the place.
I just felt like something pushed back on my knees.
Really?
Like actually.
Yeah.
Shit. Can you do that again to Anthony?
With the spirit box on, the team is given a familiar warning.
That was fun.
It said leave.
The spirit is adamant.
Need to leave.
Leave.
Go. Oh.
Will they heed its command? Of course not. Later, while they're using the Estes method, they hear a distinct knocking.
We just heard a noise up here.
It's just like a knocking.
Of wood.
And they feel something or someone's presence.
What the heck is happening right now?
It's like we're being surrounded.
Yeah.
They're gone. No, they're not.
Is the team being surrounded? And with what intent?
Who's gonna die? Why would you say that?
I think the answer to that question is fairly obvious. YouTuber Ali H is haunted by a demonic entity, and he finally caught her on camera at 3 a.m. After waking to a closet door rattling and lights flickering, Ali gets up to take a look.
What the
The spirit has put on a record. It seems that she's throwing a party.
What the
It's shooting by the bright eyes.
Stop it!
But there's no one downstairs. As he continues through the house, the record player turns on again.
What do you want?
The music crescendos once more.
Stop!
my God.
Using a Connect app, Ali takes a look in the room, and there it stands.
Ow. What was that? I just got shocked by my phone and it just got much colder in here.
He can't believe what he's seeing.
Holy You guys see that? You can even see the shadow. Like, you can see the dark figure there too. What the Can you guys see that? Like, you guys can see that figure too, right? Am I crazy? It's literally... Am I nuts?
But there you have it, right before your eyes. Has this been what's tormenting Ali and his partner? I believe that's exactly who's standing before them, but I think they'll have to dig further to find out why she won't let them sleep. A demon calls this place home, and the YouTube team Dark Mystic is here to investigate. Using a spirit box, they receive a message from the beyond. This demon apparently needs help, or maybe the spirits he's tormenting do instead. Meanwhile, a still cam in another room captures several unexplained noises. Noise resounds in a second room as well. The noises continue. Is the demon biding its time here until these men leave? I think that's what's happening. To me, he doesn't seem like he wants to scare them away with a bang. At least, not yet. What is going on here? There must be a story to explain what is happening here. What's interesting about this image is the scary figure it showcases. What we're seeing here is nothing short of terrifying. This image is currently trending in the Spanish-speaking YouTube community. I came across it on a popular YouTube channel that creates content in this language, and I wanted to share it with you. It's a great example of how unique elements of horror can be found all around the world, each with its own twist. So, what do you think it is? And more importantly, do you think it's real or just a clever effect? Let me know down in the comments.